Canon Films, the home of high-powered, high-voltage motion picture entertainment.
Hi, I'm Austin Trunick, author of the Canon Film Guide. And you're listening to Play That Rock and Roll with Joe K.
We're Canon Films, and we're dynamite.
I didn't get a chance to watch Last American Virgin recently, but I've heard, and you definitely make it sound like it's not your typical Porky's teen sex romp. It's maybe closer to like Fast Times at Ridgemont High than Porky's. A little like the story's a little better, the characters are a little better. What do you think sets that apart from the rest of the sleaze in the mid '80s?
Well, it's a very heartfelt story in that one. The movie was based on Lemon Popsicle. The same director, Boaz Davidson, had made it for Golan-globus in Israel before they came over to the United States, and it was a huge hit for them in so many countries, everywhere but the U.S. Mm-hmm. And he had based a lot of it on his own teenage years, his own experiences, and I think that comes through. It's got one of the most heartbreaking endings in a movie. I won't spoil anything, but let me know when you watch it, and let me know if you're wiping away a tear at the end. It's something that's great about it too is that the cast is actual teenagers. A lot of these kids were 15, 16 years old. Lawrence Monson, who plays the main character, was too young to even get the job, so he had to go get a fake ID so he could be in the Canon movie because he was only 15, and he was in an R-rated movie.
Okay.
So yeah, he presented Canon with a fake ID, which is just incredible to think.
Well, this is get away with, you know.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I mean, it does have a lot of your standard Porky style nudity, but there's a lot of heart to the actual story that's told there. Incredible soundtrack too.
The Last American Virgin, featuring songs by Blondie, The Cars, Devo, Journey, The Police, REO Speedwagon, Tommy Tutone, and more. The Last American Virgin. See it or be it.
Yeah.
Shake it up.
The Lemon Popsicle movies, the original Israeli one, it was all 50s, Elvis and Chuck Berry and stuff on the soundtrack, and that soundtrack became a big hit overseas. So when they came here, they wanted to do something different. They had set it in the 80s rather than the 50s, and it was Devo, The Waitresses, The Cars, U2, and a very early soundtrack appearance from U2, and it did very well. The soundtrack was really one of those very, very early new wave to really capture the new wave soundtracks.
So one of the rare moments where Canon was a little ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Because soundtracks were huge in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So with Lemon Popsicle, the Israeli films, that was a pretty long-running series, right? There's a whole bunch of those. Did you watch any or all of them?
I watched clips from a lot of the sequels. There are lots. There are a lot of Lemon Popsicle movies, but they were being made really in Israel while Canon was working in the U.S. They were being just produced as Golan-globus movies over there. The first one I've seen, and it's fun to watch it, especially when I was familiar first with Last American Virgin, because some of the scenes are dead matches. It's just amazing to see like different actors saying almost the same lines. It's staged the same way. Even like some of the actors in them look similar to each other, and yeah, it's interesting. If you're a fan of Last American Virgin, haven't seen Lemon Popsicle, definitely check it out because it's just like watching the same movie but an alternate, like the foreign version. You see foreign TV shows.
Yeah, I just wondered, like, if the later ones kept any level of quality, or if those, like most sequels, kind of got worse and worse. I imagine those are very hard to find.
Europe they're easier to find. You can get import discs to get them. They're more similar to some movies that appear in the second. That are written about in the second volume. Yeah, there's a movie called Hot Resort and a movie called Hot Chili.
Okay.
And Hot Chili actually stars one of the actors from Last American Virgin playing basically the same role, and it's got some of the scenes that are like very similar, very much almost repeated from what's in Last American Virgin. And I think both of those movies are spiritually like the same as the other Lemon Popsicle movies, except they just had different casts.
Oh, okay. So Lemon Popsicle was like a well that canon kind of went back to again and again.
Yeah, they kept bringing the same actors back in each one. Well, Last American Virgin, they actually expected it to be a franchise, like they had with Lemon Popsicle.
Yeah.
And they had signed the boys on, not Diane Franklin, who later was on Bill and Ted, and she was not signed on for sequels, but the guys had in their contract they could keep making these movies. So the expectation was that it would take off and it didn't. There were so many teen movies, and it kind of really came at the tail end of that kind of Porky's Fast Time, and you were getting more into the John Hughes things.
Oh,
which
interesting.
I think kind of shifted what teen movies were going to do very, very well at the box office, and kind of just shifted their focus.
That's real interesting. Do you think Last American Virgin is sort of like a bridge between the Porky's Fast Times and the John Hughes teen movies? Sort of like a middle ground?
You could definitely make that argument. So it's got the explicit nudity and the sexual hijinks, but it's a pretty heartfelt, honest teenage love story. So that's a good description.
That's real interesting. Okay. I'll have to check that out. I'm very curious to see that one, because I do love a lot of Johnny Hughes movies, and I don't love Porky's, but the third one has a great ending, if you've never seen it.
If I can make another book recommendation,
please.
It's a book called Teen Movie Hell, and it's by Mike McPadden. And it's excellent. It's similar to it's a film guide, but it's just essays about teen sex comedies, really covering all of them. So many I haven't heard of, but it's one that I've had to use for reference when I have to go back and think, what happened in the last Revenge of the Nerds movie? Rather than typing it in the internet, I'll grab Teen Movie Hell off the shelf and read a very thoughtful analysis of.
That is fantastic. I'm going to check that out.
Best of luck.
You made me feel like a rock star right there. That was great.
Hell yeah, man.
Better luck next time.